Welcome to the Madison Miller podcast. Today is Monday, December 20th, 2021. Today I'm going to recap the weekend's NFL, college bowl games in college football, college basketball, NBA, NHL, and the PNC Championship. Then we'll look ahead to everything going on in all the sports, news, and notes. And then the segment of the week is going to be Nice or Naughty. And for today's show, it's going to be Major League Baseball and my best bet of the day. We're going to start with football, and it'll be the NFL. We will go over the games from the weekend and look ahead to tonight's two games. Colts over the Patriots, 27-17 was on Saturday night, and then the Raiders-Browns game got postponed to today, which we'll get to. Sunday, Bills over the Panthers 31-14, Lions over the Cardinals 30-12, Dolphins over the Jets 31-24, Cowboys over the Giants 21-6, Steelers over the Titans 19-13, Texans over the Jaguars 30-16, Bengals over the Broncos 15-20, 49ers over the Falcons 31-13, Packers over the Ravens 31-30, and the shocker of the day from a score and the result standpoint, Saints over the Buccaneers 9-0. I don't think I've ever recall a defending champion getting shut out in a game. Last time I feel like this happened was to the Giants back in 2012 when they played at Atlanta. I feel like they got shut out in that game. The only reason why I know that is because I'm a Giants fan. So I made that no secret on this podcast, and I know a lot of things about the Giants. So that's probably why I remember that, even though it's from so long ago. I believe it was 2012. All right, two games today, as I mentioned, 5 o'clock NFL Network. You have the Raiders and the Browns. A lot of people are going to be back for this game, it looks like. We're going to see if Baker Mayfield is going to be back today. Scroll down the list here. Trayvon Mullen out for the Raiders. Denzel Perryman out for the Raiders. Darren Waller out. That's a big deal. Darren Waller out. Let's see here. So now we know that because he's a big-time player for Vegas, and he's just somebody that they can, in my opinion, not afford to lose. And on the Cleveland side, Newsom's out, Anthony Schwartz is out, Kareem Hunt out. And Baker Mayfield, a full participation in practice. That is really good news. We don't know about Myles Garrett. But anyway, really good to see that Baker Mayfield is better and ready to go. My projection is Browns by 5.5, total 46-55. Meanwhile, the numbers for this game are Browns by 3, total 41.5. I'm actually gonna go the over. I understand that Darren Waller's out for Las Vegas, but that is such a low number. And I do like the Browns minus the 3 as well. It's funny to think about that Vegas was a 2.5-point favorite in this game maybe 5 days ago. 4 days ago, and then it just flipped back once it was announced about Baker Mayfield playing. So I'm going to go over 41.5. I like it. I think Baker's going to be motivated in this game. The Raiders' defense stinks. And I just like them in the spot. I would lay the 3, but the podcast play is going to be the over. And then the second game today, the Vikings and the Bears. My projection is Vikings 1.5, total 47-7. Adam Thielen questionable. That's a problem. But what's not a problem is that Dalvin Cook full participation in practice. Jason Peters out. DeAndre Houston Carson out. Xavier Crawford out for Chicago. Marquise Goodwin, doubtful. Akeem Hicks, questionable. They could get him back. That'd be good. And the numbers here, Vikings a whopping 6.5, total 45. I can't believe Minnesota's favored by that much. I really don't trust them as a big favorite at all. I love the Bears here, plus the points. I do not think the Bears are going to win outright, but I just think this is a close game. I usually like division home dogs when they're healthy, or relatively healthy, when I think it's too big of a line and no significant injuries. I mean, yesterday, Cowboys-Giants, no Daniel Jones. That's a huge problem, obviously. So that's why I went with Dallas as the big road favorite. And then same thing with Dallas 2 weeks ago, last week when they played Washington. I laid the points with them in a road division game because of the injuries that Washington had. But in this scenario, no way am I laying 6.5 with the Minnesota Vikings on the road. Give me the Bears, 5-point edge. I think the Vikings will win the game, but I do think that Chicago will cover the number. All right, college football bowl games. We will recap the games from Friday and Saturday and look ahead to today's standalone game. Middle Tennessee State over Toledo, 31-24 in the Bahamas Bowl. That was a big upset. Coastal Carolina over Northern Illinois, 47-41 in the Cure Bowl. That was almost another upset, but Northern Illinois couldn't get a final playoff in time. Saturday, Western Kentucky over App State, 59-38 in the Boca Raton Bowl. Was wrong there. Fresno over UTEP, 31-24 New Mexico Bowl. UTEP covered there, so I was right about that. UAB upsets number 13 BYU, 31-28 in the Independence Bowl. I was wrong there. Liberty over Eastern Michigan, 56-20 in the Lending Tree Bowl. I was way off there. The Jimmy Kimmel LA Bowl. Utah State over Oregon State, 24-13. I was way right there. That was probably my biggest hit so far in terms of a big edge I had and a big edge that I had on the opposing team. And then number 23, Louisiana over Marshall, 36-21, as I was right on that one in the New Orleans Bowl. Now we look ahead to today's lone game, 2:30 on ESPN, Old Dominion and Tulsa. I project a pick'em in 55-7. And Tulsa is a 9-point favorite, or 8.5-point favorite. And the total is 54. I'm going to take Old Dominion in the points here. I don't know if they'll win the game outright or not, but Old Dominion's been a pleasant surprise this season in college football, as me, among many others, thought that this was going to be one of the truly terrible teams, but no, they're here in a bowl game. So I think they'll get up for this game. Will they win? I don't know. But I don't think Tulsa's all that special. So give me Old Dominion plus 8.5. And I would take a shot at plus 250, but maybe like a quarter unit per se. All right, now I'll move on to college basketball. We will recap everything from the weekend and look ahead to a small window for tonight. So we begin with Friday night. Liberty over East Carolina, 74-64. Virginia Tech over St. Bonaventure, 86-49. Sacramento State over Menlo, 67-53. Richmond over NC State, 83-74. Gardner-Webb over Converse, 79-46. FAU over Florida Tech, 78-55. Mississippi State over Furman, 69-66. Western Michigan over Aquinas, 67-56. Creighton over number 9 Villanova, 79-59. Tarleton over South Alabama, 65-52. Texas Rio Grande over Texas San Antonio, 68-50. Utah Valley over Bethesda, 107-65. San Jose State over Portland, 90-78. Santa Clara over Florida A&M, 80-66. Wake over Charlotte, 82-79. Fullerton over Redlands, 93-78. Fresno over Cal Poly, 83-48. San Diego State over St. Mary, 63-53. North Dakota State over Pacific, 73-61. And Dillard New Orleans postponed. Saturday, number 3, Purdue over Butler, 77-48. Youngstown State over Westminster, Pennsylvania, 83-54. Pitt over St. John's, 59-57. Number 5, Gonzaga over number 25, Texas Tech, 69-55. Cincinnati over Ashland, 71-57. Central Con over Hartford, 75-65. Indiana State over Alabama A&M, 67-43. Illinois over St. Francis, PA, 106-48. Florida over South Florida, 66-55. A&M Corpus Christi over Lamar, 57-53. Davidson over Radford, 74-64. Maine over New England, 86-50. NC Central over Delaware State, 86-53. NC State over Tennessee State, 90-88. In overtime, Colorado over Cal State Bakersfield, 60-46. Wright State over Tennessee Tech, 72-63. UNC Asheville reached Tennessee State, 79-64. UNC Wilmington over High Point, 71-69. TCU over Georgetown, 80-73. Bucknell over LaSalle, 82-70. Virginia over Fairleigh Dickinson, 82-49. North Florida over Trinity Baptist, 92-44. Bellarmine over Miami of Ohio, 77-68. Texas State over North Dakota, 78-69. Niagara over Albany, 66-58. Vandy over Austin Peay, 77-51. Indiana over Notre Dame, 64-56. Belmont over Bethel, Indiana, 115-86. Western Illinois over Eastern Illinois, 71-54. North Alabama over Southeast Baptist, 106-40. Arkansas Pine Bluff over Ecclesia, 97-56. Georgia Southern over Confident, 85-51. Bradley over St. Joe, 77-73. Sam Houston over Hardin-Simmons, 103-53. Western Kentucky over Louisville, 82-72. UL Monroe over Southern Miss, 74-65. Number 2 Duke over Alon, 87-56. Number 10 USC over Georgia Tech, 67-53. Number 22 Xavier over Marquette, 80-71. SC Upstate over Converse, 78-38. Southern Illinois over Maryville, 75-55. Nichols over Mississippi Valley State, 104-73. Morris State over Alice Lloyd, 87-47. Wofford over Presbyterian, 76-49. Mount St. Mary's over Morgan State, 74-60. Washington State over Northern Colorado, 82-56. Northern Iowa over Marshall, 75-60. North Texas over Wichita State, 62-52. Jacksonville over Weber International, 87-48. Illinois State over Ball State, 85-64. Howard over NC-A&T, 79-57. Missouri over Utah, 83-75. Providence upsets number 20 UConn, 57-53. Troy over Arkansas Baptist, 84-64. Texas State over Paul Quinn, 75-36. Idaho over Sagu AIC, 84-55. West Virginia over UAB, 65-59. Marist over BU, 84-79 in overtime. Canisius over Buffalo, 65-64. Number 21 Kentucky over North Carolina, 98-69 in the CBS Sports Classic. Kentucky was supposed to play Ohio State. North Carolina was supposed to play UCLA, but UCLA and Ohio State had COVID issues, so that game, or those two respective games, got canceled, and UNC and Kentucky wound up playing each other. Number 8, Arizona over Cal Baptist, 84-60. New Mexico State over Northern New Mexico, 93-60. Georgia State over Toccoa Falls, 92-44. Clemson over South Carolina, 70-56. Ole Miss over Dayton, 76-68. Stony Brook over St. Peter's, 64-63. Number 14, Houston over Oklahoma State, 72-61. Number 19, LSU over Louisiana Tech, 66-57. Northwestern State over Southwest Adventist, 104-50. Eastern Kentucky over Northern Kentucky, 81-68 in overtime. UC San Diego over Caltech, 93-52. Michigan over Southern Utah, 87-50. George Mason over Georgia, 80-67. Stanford over Kennesaw State, 85-84. Grand Canyon over San Francisco, 49-48. Number 7, Kansas over Stephen F. Austin, 80-72. Hofstra over number 24, Arkansas, 89-81. Idaho State over Stetta, 103-68. A&M over Oregon State, 83-73. BYU over Weber State, 89-71. Pepperdine over Southeast Missouri State, 83-77. Missouri State over Central Arkansas, 106-70. Murray State over Chattanooga, 87-76. Number 6, Alabama over Jacksonville State, 65-59. Number 13, Auburn over St. Louis, 74-70. Iowa over Utah State, 94-75. Number 1, Baylor over Oregon, 78-70. Washington over Seattle, 64-56. Cal State Northridge over Portland State, 69-66. San Diego over Northern Arizona, 69-59. And Nevada over Loyola Marymount, 68-63. Number 18, Tennessee Memphis canceled. Grambling Tulane canceled. Drexel Temple postponed. Iona number 16, Seton Hall canceled. DePaul Northwestern canceled. UCF Florida State canceled. Penn State VCU canceled. Number 23, Colorado State Tulsa canceled. Tennessee Martin Evansville canceled. Dallas Christian McNeese canceled. Rider Rutgers postponed. Lehigh Syracuse postponed. And La Sierra Long Beach State canceled. Sunday, Number 11, Iowa State over Southeast Louisiana, 77-54. Detroit Mercy over Central Michigan, 89-75. UMass Lowell over Sacred Heart, 70-62. Duquesne over UC Irvine, 76-54. UMass over Fairfield, 77-73 in overtime. Florida Gulf Coast over Mercer, 67-55. South SIU Edwardsville over William and Woods, 84-29. Long Island over Army, 90-65. Arkansas State over Air Force, 68-46. Harvard over Holy Cross, 62-54. Monmouth over Colgate, 77-66. Bowling Green over Robert Morris, 174. UIC over Northern Illinois, 61-60. Number 17, Texas over Stanford, 60-53. Drake over Tennessee Martin, 80-54. Middle Tennessee over Coastal Carolina, 84-80. Oklahoma over UT Arlington, 70-50. SMU over New Mexico, 90-72. UC Davis over Pacific, 77-67. Cal over Dartmouth at 61-55. Richmond over Old Dominion, 67-61. Abilene Christian over Howard Payne, 112-41. Montana State over Portland, 61-59. Lipscomb over Tennessee Wesleyan, 98-64. Santa Clara over Montana, 79-64. Southern over Kent State, 78-76. Boise over Montana Tech, 88-57. Kansas State over Nebraska, 67-58. San Francisco over Arizona State, 66-65. UC Santa Barbara over Florida A&M, 73-72. And among those not played, Bethune-Cookman FIU canceled. Longwood St. Francis Brooklyn postponed. Vermont Northeastern canceled. Norfolk Loyola Chicago canceled. Charleston Rhode Island canceled. St. Thomas Texas Rice postponed. Sacramento State UC Riverside postponed. And Bryant Cornell canceled. Monday, which is today, Creighton wins over DePaul due to DePaul forfeit, so DePaul's COVID issues. And then St. John's over Seton Hall forfeit because Seton Hall had the forfeit because of COVID. So conference games, I guess it has to forfeit, which is wild. I kind of forgot about that. So 1 o'clock, Hendrix College, Central Arkansas, we can skip. 5 o'clock, give SC State and the Citadel. I project Citadel 22.5. And it is 12.5 and 156.5. I'll lay the 12.5 with Citadel. Oakland City, Indiana State, we can skip. 7 o'clock, Alcorn State, number 1 Baylor. My projection is Baylor by 41 3/4. And it's 31.5 or 34.5. 34.5 and 139.5. I'll lay the points with Baylor. Gwinnett Mercy College Rider, we can skip. Delaware State Wagner. My projection is Wagner by a whopping 21 3/4. And it is 23.5 and 134.5. So I have to bet the total. I'll go with the over. Maryland Eastern Shore Charlotte. My projection is Charlotte by 25.5. And it is 12.5 and 130.5. I'll lay it with Charlotte. Illinois Springfield Northwestern, we can skip. Western Carolina and Georgia. My projection is Georgia by 8 1/4. And it's 11.5 and 146.5. I can't wait to bet Western Carolina plus the points. That's exciting. Stetson and Miami of Florida. My projection is Miami by 16 3/4. And this line is 15.5 and 135. I'm going to go with the over. From the McAllister Fieldhouse, Manhattan and Charleston Southern. My projection is Manhattan by 4 1/4, and it's 7.5 and 140.5. I'll take Southern and the points, and what is the de facto home game for them on a neutral. Eastern Michigan and Valparaiso. My projection is Valparaiso by 2.5, and Valparaiso is a 7.5 point favorite, total 135. I'll take Eastern Michigan in the 7.5. Incarnate Word Purdue. I don't see this game here. Did they take it down or something? Oh, no, right there. 7 o'clock Big Ten Network. My projection is Purdue by 41 and a quarter, and Purdue is giving 38.5 and 144.5. I'll lay the points with Purdue. 8 o'clock, Yale Monroe and Lamar. My projection is Yale Monroe by 3.25. And it is 4.5 and 136.5. I'm going to take the over. UMKC and South Dakota State. My projection here is South Dakota State by 13, and it's 13.5 and 141.5. I'll take the over. Now we have Summit League games, which is exciting. Oral Roberts in South Dakota. My projection is South Dakota by 3.25. And it is Oral Roberts by 3.5, total 143.5. Wrong team's favor. Give me South Dakota plus the points and plus 146 on the money line. St. Thomas, Minnesota, and Omaha. My projection is St. Thomas by 0.5. And it's St. Thomas by 2.5, total 149.5. I'll take Omaha on the points, and I give them a shot to an outright. They're plus 130. ACC Network, Western Michigan and Notre Dame. My projection is Notre Dame by 16.5. And it's 21.5 and 138. I'll take Western Michigan in the points. 9 o'clock, Northern Arizona, number 5 Gonzaga. Breaking news coming down, which I'll get to in a moment here. Gonzaga 31 is my projection, and it's 35 and 145.5. I'll take Northern Arizona in the points. Texas, Permian Basin, and New Mexico State we can skip. And last but not least, Western Illinois and Denver. My projection is Western Illinois by 11, and it's 7.5 and 140.5. I'll lay to 7.5 with Western Illinois. All right, now we'll move on to the NBA. We will recap the games from last night and the rest of the weekend, and we'll look ahead to today's window. Friday, Heat over the Magic, 115-105. Nuggets over the Hawks, 133-115. Warriors over the Celtics, 111-107. Pelicans over the Bucks, 116-112 in overtime. Spurs over the Jazz, 128-126. Wolves over the Lakers, 110-92. Blazers over the Hornets, 125-116. Grizzlies over the Kings, 124-105. Saturday, Rockets over the Pistons, 116-107. Celtics over the Knicks, 114-107. Magic over the Nets, 193. Raps over the Wizards, 119-100. Thunder over the Clippers, 104-103. Cavs over the Bucks, 119-90. Wizards over the Jazz, 109-103. And then yesterday, Pistons over the Heat, 190. Blazers over the Grizzlies, 105-100. Kings over the Spurs, 121-114. Bulls over the Lakers, 115-110. Wolves over the Mavericks, 111-105. And the Suns over the Hornets, 137-106. Pelicans, Sixers, Cavs, Hawks, Nuggets, Nets all postponed. Tonight, 7:30 on NBA TV, you have the 76ers against the Celtics. My projection here is the Celtics by, oh my God, I didn't even do the player injuries. My goodness. And that's really, bad. But I guess I'll just have to do this on the fly here on the podcast, which, I never normally do. But it's not the, worst thing in the world. So for Boston, nobody really of significance out. Al Horford is probably worth maybe a point. And then Tatum's questionable, but he'll probably go. And then the Sixers, Maxey questionable, Milton out. I completely forgot to do these projections here. Embiid questionable. So it cancels each other out from an injury standpoint, and Ben Simmons is obviously out. And this is what makes the Boston projection up to 5.5 in total, 214.01. Meanwhile, it is 3 and 213.5. I'm gonna lay the 3 points with the Boston Celtics. Next up, you have the Rockets and the Bulls. Magic Raptors was supposed to be today, but got postponed. I wonder if the NBA is going to do what the NHL did. We're going to get to that in news and notes eventually. I project the Bulls by 17.5, total 216.55. And that's with all the COVID stuff. And it's 7 and 222.5. I'll lay the 7 with the Bulls. Thunder Grizzlies. My projection is Memphis 11.5, total 213.8. Meanwhile, it is 9.5 and 213. Laying it with Memphis. Hornets Jazz at 9 o'clock. My projection is the Jazz by 13.5, total 226.45. Meanwhile, it's 11.5 and 235.5. I'll take the under. Kings Warriors at 10 o'clock. My projection is Golden State 16.5, total 28 or 218.9. Meanwhile, it's 12 and 222.5. Laying it with Golden State. And then Spurs Clippers at 10:30. My projection is Clippers by 9 3/4, total 215.25. Meanwhile, it is 5 and 216.5. I'm going to lay the 5 with the Clippers. All right, NHL from the weekend. We will look back on the weekend's games and look ahead to the games for tonight. All right, we'll begin with Friday night. Golden Knights over the Rangers 3-2 in a shootout. Pens over the Sabres 3-2 in OT. Blues over the Stars 4-1. Caps over the Jets 5-2. Preds over the Blackhawks 3-2 in overtime. Coyotes over the Ducks 6-5 in overtime. Saturday, Flyers over the Senators 4-3 in overtime. Hurricanes over the Kings 5-1. Red Wings over the Devils 5-2. Stars over the Blackhawks 4-3 in OT. And the Oilers over the Kraken 5-3. And yesterday, Golden Knights over the Islanders 4-3 in a shootout. Jets over the Blues 4-2. Pens over the Devils 3-2. And the Kings over the Caps 3-2. Bruins, Sens, Preds, Canes, Maple Leafs, Kraken, Coyotes, Canucks all postponed. Only 2 games tonight with all these postponements. 7 o'clock, you have the Blue Jackets and the Sabres. Buffalo's a favorite, -114. Columbus is -106. Over under 6. Over is -102. Under is -120. Columbus -1.5 is +235. Buffalo +1.5 is -300. I like Columbus here on the road at -106. We'll see if Elvis Merzlikins gets a start tonight. If he does, Buffalo should not be favored in this game. And at 8:30, Wild Stars. Stars are -120. Wild even money. Over under 5.5. Over is -114. Under is -106. Wild +1.5 is -290. Stars -1.5 is +225. Let's go with the Wild. Why in the world is Dallas continue to be a favoritism, home favorite, night after night after night? It's not deserved. Give me the Wild at even money to win this game outright. All right, now move on to golf. We had the PNC Championship over the weekend. And it was a fun tournament, to say the least. So your winners of the PNC Championship was Team Daly at 27 under. Second place, Team Woods at 25 under. Tied for third, Team Sink and Team Thomas at 24 under. Tied for fifth with 21 under, Team Lemon and Team Sing. Seventh at 20 under, Team Kuchar. Tied for eighth with 19 under, Team O'Meara and Team Stenson. Tied for 10th with 18 under, Team Beam and Team Player. 12th place with 17 under, Team Corda. Tied for 13th with 16 under, Team Tuval and Team Watson. Team B Watson. 15th with 15 under, Team Harrington. Tied for 16th with 14 under, Team T Watson, Team Farouk, Team Price, Team Faldo. And in 20th with 13 under, Team Trevino. This was a really, really entertaining and fun tournament. And it was good to see Tiger back out there, which really made me happy. All right, to the news and notes. Postponements are dominating the subplots of the weekend. And coming down now is that it will be Nick Mullins at quarterback for the Browns tonight. And that means I have to go back and potentially change my pick here for this game. And Baker is worth a lot. For his team. And now this goes down to a pick'em. Now that he's not going to play. And Vegas is going to be favored in this game now, you would think, with this egregious downgrade from Baker to ex-49ers quarterback Nate Mullins. And the Browns only go down to a 1-point favorite. So I actually still think the over is the move here. And I actually think the Raiders are going to win this game outright now. So I think the Raiders, I would throw in a round robin with a couple of other teams. And coming down now, Chris Godwin out for the regular season after spraining his MCL and should be able to return for the playoffs. Him and Mike Evans not being out there is what cost the Buccaneers this game, ultimately, in my opinion. And this was obviously the worst I've seen Tom Brady play all year. And we'll see how that goes. The NBA and the Players Association agreed to allow teams shorthanded by COVID-19 to sign replacement players per memo obtained by Woj, so that's good. Number one JUCO recruit to Auburn, Jeffrey Mba, defensive lineman, as he commits to Auburn. That's really good. Kemba Walker came back to play for the Knicks after being benched, and he scored 29 points against the Celtics. And he says, I know I should be playing. I feel like I'm built for any situation, he says. 5 NBA games got postponed, whether they were yesterday, today, and Tuesday. Frank Vogel's in COVID protocols. David Fisdale acted as the interim coach against the Bulls. Trae Young's in COVID protocols. He may miss the game against the Knicks on Christmas. Mario Chalmers joined the G League Nuggets affiliate. Leonard Fournette was also out due to a hamstring injury. And by the way, Evans was hamstring. Teddy Bridgewater had a concussion and had to get carted off the field. And 6 players are off the COVID list for the Rams, including Odell Beckham Jr. and Darrell Henderson. So that is really good news for the Rams. So happy I got that number at 4. Trevor Ariza made his season debut the other night. Devin Booker came back from his injury. Anthony Davis is out for 4 weeks with an MCL sprain in his left knee. Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and James Harden are all in protocols, as is Anthony Edwards. And Evan Mobley. Klay Thompson's potential return January 3rd against the Heat, the 9th against the Cavs, or the 18th against the Pistons. They want a home game for him. Bo Nix is transferring to Oregon, so Oregon gets a new quarterback. Casey Thompson, the Texas starting quarterback, enters the portal with Quinn Ewers arriving in Austin. Sterling Shepard towards his Achilles yesterday against the Cowboys for the Giants. The Eagles to have 3 first-round picks after Carson Wentz officially plays more than 75% of the snaps. So the NHL made some news over the weekend as they halted cross-border travel, as the league is to suspend cross-border travel until after the holiday break. And Olympic participation decision expected in coming days, and it looks like they're not going to participate in the Olympics due to the COVID uptick in cases. 5 teams get shut down: the Avalanche, the Flames, the Panthers, the Bruins, and the Predators. And I think the Red Wings got shut down as well. And it's all through the holiday break. And the funny thing was that Kyrie Irving was close to his return as he talked to Kevin Durant, and then he's in the COVID protocol. The WNBA lottery happened yesterday in the draft order. The Mystics, the Fever, the Dream, and the Wings are your top 4 in the lottery. DeAndre Hopkins' timetable, no sooner than the NFC Championship game or the Super Bowl. So you would think his season's over. I don't see them in either of those games. Antonio Brown to return Monday after his 3-game suspension for violating COVID protocols. So the Vikings waived Bashad Breeland. The Jaguars are not looking to pay Urban Meyer after his firing. The Washington football team and the Eagles and the Seahawks and the Rams will play tomorrow night, as we discussed earlier in the show. The Oakland Athletics are closing in on third base coach and former outfielder Mark Coste for its managerial position. And speaking of new managers, the New York Mets hired Buck Showalter, as Steve Cohen announces it on Twitter. That is a good hire for the Mets. I think they try to win the press conference here. They'll win a lot of regular season games, but the question is, could he finally break through in the postseason? He was never able to do so at his previous stops. Former Met Noah Syndergaard will honor the late Nick Aidenhart's number 34 to honor his name and wear that jersey with pride, he says. Jonathan Tavares in COVID protocol, and so is Alexander Kerfoot. Jets head coach Paul Maurice resigns after 7 seasons, and assistant Dave Lowry named interim head coach, and Maurice says the Jets need new voice. So he resigned. And non-sports related news, new COVID record, almost 22,500 new cases Sunday, and sets a statewide record, which is really, really unfortunate and scary with traveling and holiday season and whatnot. All right, a new segment for the week called Nice or Naughty. This week, or today's show, will be Major League Baseball. Tomorrow is going to be NHL. NFL is going to be Wednesday, and Thursday is going to be the NBA. So I want to change it up in the order of sports things that I like to do. I'm going to go division by division very quickly and say who's nice and who's naughty. The nice list on the AL East edition, the Tampa Bay Rays, they just continue to just go out and win games regardless of who's on the roster. The Toronto Blue Jays finally broke through this year in the American League East. The naughty list, the New York Yankees lose in Boston in the wildcard game and did absolutely nothing in the offseason before the lockout. The Red Sox are on the naughty list. Despite beating the Yankees in the wild card game and the Rays in the division round, they did nothing to improve their roster, in my opinion. And the Baltimore Orioles are on the naughty list because they did nothing to improve their roster in the offseason. The AL Central, the nice list, the Detroit Tigers, they go out and spend money in free agency, and they showed promise in the second half of last season. The naughty list, the Chicago White Sox, they again lose in the postseason with all the talent they have on that roster. The naughty list, the Cleveland Indians, they just really have been stuck in mediocrity for a while now. The naughty list, the Minnesota Twins, very dismal 2021 for them, a big underachiever this year. And the nice list, the Kansas City Royals, they're up and coming, and they're trying to make themselves competitive again. Good on them and the Tigers. The AL West, the nice list. I can't believe I'm saying this, and this is only because they did an important thing before the lockout, and that's the Houston Astros. Re-signing Justin Verlander. I know losing in the postseason to the Braves in the World Series was not something they wanted, but it was nice that they brought back Justin Verlander because I thought that was something they had to do. The Texas Rangers are on the nice list because they went out and signed Corey Seager and Marcus Semien to make their team look more respectable. The naughty list, the Oakland Athletics, they get rid of Bob Melvin, and it looks like they're going to tear that team down, and that team has a lot of talent on it as well. The naughty list, the Los Angeles Angels, they continue to not go big or go home for Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani, and they never make the postseason. And the nice list, the Seattle Mariners, they really had a breakout year this year, so they've deserved props for that. The NL East, the nice list, the New York Mets. Yes, I'm saying the New York Mets on the nice list. They hire Buck Showalter, they sign Max Scherzer. Those are nice things, and I think that kind of makes up for the lousy season they have. The nice list, the Atlanta Braves, they just won the World Series. Of course they're on the nice list. They're number one on the nice list. They won the World Series without a couple key components this year, and they're going to be better next year, assuming that baseball is going to be played. The naughty list, the Washington Nationals, underachievers, which led to the big sell-off. The Nationals, obviously, underachievers this year led to the big sell-off, and they just look like a hot mess right now. The Philadelphia Phillies are on the naughty list because they still haven't made the postseason in a decade, and Joe Girardi, to me, looks like a manager that's going to be on the hot seat going into 2022. Him and then the guy that replaced him in New York, Aaron Boone, to me, are the two managers I think are under the most pressure next year. And obviously Buckin with the Mets as well. And then the Marlins go on... This is a tough one. I would say the nice list only because... yes, they overachieved in the COVID season 2020, and they didn't have as much success last year. But they're not doing silly Marlins, same old Marlins crap anymore. They kind of moved on from that. So I give them a lot of credit for it, and they're a team that's trying to, like the Tigers and the Royals. So I got to put them on the nice list for at least trying. The NL Central, the nice list. The St. Louis Cardinals really just going for it year after year in and year out. I know the managerial change was questionable, but this is still a franchise that really goes for it year in and year out. The Milwaukee Brewers, really just overachievers year after year, and they have the best manager in the division, in my opinion, as well. The naughty list, the Chicago Cubs, they blew it up and tore it all down. David Ross, I don't think is a good manager. He's worse than Aaron Boone. And he really, the Cubs are just in trouble. And they're a couple trades away in terms of subtracting to becoming potentially the worst team in the league. The Pittsburgh Pirates are on the naughty list because they just really aren't trying and doing this tanking thing. They're like the Orioles. Them and the Orioles are the two teams. They just feel like they're sitting on their asses and not trying out of the bad teams. And then the Reds, to me, go on the naughty list because, to me, they're just stuck in mediocrity. It's them and the Indians. Like, what's the plan, Reds? And then the NL West. The nice list, the Dodgers. Yeah, they didn't bring back Corey Seager, but they did bring back Chris Taylor, which was a huge deal. They did win the World Series in the COVID year. That's fine. It looks like they're probably going to bring back Clayton Kershaw once the lockout's done. But because I think they're getting too much criticism of the offseason, unlike the Yankees, who deserve the criticism, and the Red Sox, who deserve the criticism, and the Cubs. But the Dodgers, I don't think, deserve that much criticism. They have the depth in their farm system to replace Corey Seager, and they are still the Dodgers. San Francisco Giants deserve a shout-out on the nice list. They brought a lot of people back from the surprising team that had the best record in the regular season this year. And Gabe Kapler has done a fabulous job in San Francisco. I just didn't think he can handle Philadelphia. But I think this is a better fit for him. The naughty list, the Colorado Rockies, who just sit on their asses and do nothing. Same for the Diamondbacks, who are just in mediocrity. And the Padres are obviously on the naughty list, who underachieve year in and year out after spending big year in and year out. All right, so that's the first edition of Nice or Naughty. Tomorrow will be the NHL's edition. Last but not least, my best bet of the day, brought to you by FanDuel. Best bet. This is a tough one. And this is a team that I really don't like to wager on. But I'm going to do it here because I just think the line is very high. And I'm going to take the Chicago Bears getting the points at home against the Vikings as my best bet of the day. All right, so that's it for the show. I'll be back on Tuesday, which is tomorrow, recapping everything, and looking ahead to tomorrow as well as Nice or Naughty in the edition of the NHL. Hope you guys have a great day, everyone.